are live. First full edition of the Paranormal and Discovery Show podcast. So we're going to do like a full-length episode. We've got certain segments and things. It won't just be random clips from our discussion. We've actually got an episode today.
Yeah.
The way we're structuring it is we have our story of the week. So like a story we might get from Reddit or just general creepypasta culture. And then we have a weekly focus. So the weekly focus is going to be on a particular topic, like horror or paranormal related, something like that.
Yeah.
This week it's on zombie culture. And then we have a kind of new discovery, like what's in the news, what's happened in this realm. We're going to talk about that supposed parallel universe that they reckon they found. But we'll get to that soon. And then we're going to finish on our quote of the week. But yeah, we hope you enjoy this new format. So to start with, we have the story of the week,
which is the elevator game. It's originated in Japan and South Korea and involves traveling in an elevator to a hellish landscape in other world, almost hell, but like hell on earth, kind of thing. So what you need for the game is you need yourself. You have to be by yourself. It needs to be a building with at least 10 floors and an elevator that works, obviously. And you go through this long procedure where you go to a bunch of different floors in a certain manner, and you get to one floor and a woman walks on, and the rule is you cannot look at her, you cannot speak to her, and you cannot have any acknowledgement that she exists.
So you get on the elevator and then at some random point a woman.
Yeah, so you get in the elevator and you have to go to different floors, and no one can get on. If someone gets on, you have to restart it.
Mm-hmm.
You just go through it, all the different levels. There's a bunch, you guys can look it up, it's all over the fucking Google. And then on one of the floors, on the 5th floor, a woman comes on, and she's normally dressed in all white and the grudge looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this woman is obviously not of this realm, so to speak.
Yeah.
She's otherworldly. She's not human. Maybe like a spirit, demon.
The Japanese and those Asian creepy stories, they have fascinations with creepy women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So imagine the grudge.
Yeah.
The ring. Yeah. That kind of thing. Yeah. So she comes on, and you're not to have any acknowledgement of her. And if you do, it ruins the ritual, and you are pretty much fucked. You're gonna have a demon with you for a while, following you about, fucking you over, kind of thing. Like the Exorcist when she was possessed by a demon. Imagine that.
Yeah.
This is what would cause it if you acknowledge her. And then you press the first floor after that, and instead of going to the first floor, you shoot up to the 10th floor. And the 10th floor opens. And then she will ask you where you're going.
Just to dial back a bit, why does someone do this? Or is this just a case of bad luck?
I don't know, who knows what it started. It started as an urban, why would someone go into
is it an urban legend?
It's an urban legend.
Okay.
So it's like someone, the Bloody Mary story. Imagine
so people claim it happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's on the same lines of going to mirror and saying Bloody Mary 3 times and then she'll come and kill you.
Yeah, okay.
So it's along the same lines.
So people might do it for kicks.
Yeah, exactly. And so you get to 10th floor, it shoots up, even though you press the first one, and it opens, and the woman asks, where are you going? And you can't respond, you just have to leave. You have to walk out into this new alternate world. And then she'll say, what's wrong? And she'll have really high pitch, almost screaming at you. And you just have to keep going. And so now you're in that other world. Nothing works. So everything's broken down. If you have a phone, the phone won't work. Anything like that. And it's supposed to be all lights, it's just completely pitch black. It's your normal world. So imagine you're in a building, right? Just everyday building, but nothing's there. Outside, red skies with a cross burning in the sky.
Okay.
Right? So pretty fucking spooky shit. And you can walk around it. You can do whatever you want there in that world, for as long as you like. Apparently people say there's things that you're in that world you wouldn't really fucking want to see.
Yeah.
Corpses and gore and blood rain down the streets, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just hell. There's fire everywhere. that kind of situation.
Yeah.
And the idea is you have to kind of get back to your own world. You have to go through the same process, just in reverse. And the reason why you have to leave the elevator, you can't just get off the elevator because the woman's still there. When you get back, the woman shouldn't be there anymore. If she still is there, that means you've done something wrong, you know, and you fucked up, and now you have to like go to a priest or something.
So how do you like get rid of her?
Well, if you go back to the elevator and she's still there,
yeah,
and you go through the process, and you can leave and you'll be back in the real world. But the thing is that she will be following you. She will be on you all the time. You will go to sleep and she'll wake up and she'll be in the corner of your room.
Oh, so until you like repent your sins, kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. That's something that I would not want to do.
Yeah, fuck that.
So is it Japanese you say, or Korean or something?
Yeah, and then there's also a really interesting story about that. Do you know Elisa Lam? The girl that died.
No.
She was in like a lot of top 5 videos.
Oh, okay.
She was an Asian girl in, I think, Canada, who had a really like. She was basically found in like a water tub.
Yeah.
On top of her building. Have you heard that story?
No.
And there's the video of her doing weird stuff in an elevator, and people have kind of tried to like connect the links that she was playing that game.
Yeah.
And then she ended up dead in a water tank on top of the building.
Huh.
Because the video shows her, there's footage of her going to an elevator, going to a bunch of different floors.
Yeah.
Looking out, looking for things, going back to the elevator, moving over. Imagine like a spirit's coming in. You guys can search up the video. It's pretty like it's quite confronting. It's pretty scary because something is obviously like terrifying her. There's a moment where she's in the corner, like obviously not some. She thinks someone has come into the elevator, and she moves to the corner and just is like fuck kind of thing. Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty weird.
So it has themes of like if you're a bad person, you kind of get that punishment sort of thing, and if you're yeah, interesting.
And there's a couple of stories about people doing it online.
And they claim it actually happened?
Yeah, they claim they did it, and then they fucked up. This one guy says he looked at her and the lady was smiling, this like terrifying grin.
Oh, so what's the difference between looking at her and not looking at her?
The whole looking at her is counting as acknowledging that she's there. So you cannot look at her.
So if you don't acknowledge she's there, you're okay.
You don't acknowledge she's there, you can go into the other world, explore the other world and come back and be fine. But if you acknowledge she's there, you fucked up.
Yeah.
And when you come back to the world, she'll still be around.
Yeah.
Basically. And there's been some stories like if you look at her, you can't come back into the normal world, or you come back into the normal world. Some people have said there's a story that some guy did it, talked to the lady, did it all, came back fine, went to bed, and woke up in the other world, and had to go back to the elevator and go back into the normal world.
Yeah.
So like, who knows what that is? Like some subconscious shit sending you back into this other dimension or whatever. But it's along those lines. Like this is probably like 100% bullshit, but
yeah,
it's pretty freaky.
It's interesting.
It's like the Bloody Mary thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember reading the story like ages ago. Because when we were thinking of something to say and something to start, I was like, oh fuck, this is a weird thing that freaked me out when I was like 12 years old.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a trip.
Interesting. Yeah, I would hate to be in that elevator knowing that something really creepy is there, but you're not allowed to look at it. It's staring at you the whole time.
Bloody Mary. I've never said the third Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
I've gone to the mirror, I said the first two, I'm like, nah, not worth it.
I can't remember, because I remember doing it with friends, but I can't remember if we chickened out or not. I feel like if we didn't and actually did it, I would remember fully. But I can't remember whether we actually went through with it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to. Interesting. And there are a few different variations of the story.
Yeah, of course. And there's actually this ritual of going to another world is similar to a bunch of other rituals of going to another world.
Yeah.
There's one where you call a guy up and he in a cab and he comes and picks you up and you drive into the other world.
Oh, okay.
And stuff like that. And apparently the world's supposed to be the same. It's just different ways to get into this other world.
Okay, like different kind of portals.
Yeah, pretty much. And one of them is the elevator with this chick.
Oh, yeah.
But apparently this lady's supposed to be like super pale, white dress.
And that
black
makes
hair.
sense with the whole, like, because you said it was an Asian origin, because they have,
Yeah.
there is a good Japanese urban legend about a woman with a cut mouth, or she has like a cut smile or something. And I won't say the whole thing now, it's been on some top 5 videos, but that's definitely one we'll have to bring up. But it's basically like, she says, do you think I'm pretty? And based off the way you respond, some stuff happens to you. But the idea is that, what I'm trying to get at is that, and when you look at The Grudge as well, it seems like these Asian cultures really love a creepy woman. Like, that seems to be a bit of a prevalent theme in their scary stories.
Yeah.
And it makes a bit of sense as well. It's like the whole child thing, because children are seen as harmless, and I guess old women are also seen as harmless. And so that's what makes them creepy when something actually does happen, because it kind of catches you by surprise a bit. Interesting.
Yeah. So this, well, I discovered this on a Reddit page. This Reddit, it's like 3 different stories pretty much. And it's definitely in the it's definitely made up, like he's writing like a story, and it's pretty gripping.
Okay. So it's fiction. He admits it, acknowledges.
He doesn't
it's
acknowledge it's fiction. He just said this happened to me, but then it ends with like cliffhangers and stuff. So it kind of gives off the fact that it probably didn't happen, and he's just writing a cool story. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's the story. You guys can go look up. Just type in elevator game
on like
Ritual
Reddit or
game.
something.
Yeah, just all.
So you've got a Wikipedia.
Yeah, well, no, there's like a Wikipedia for all these kind of games, and it's on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Alright, do you want to move on to the weekly focus?
Yes.
And the weekly focus for the first time is zombie culture.
Zombies.
So, isn't it zombie culture?
Yeah, zombie.
Well, same shit, really.
Fictional undead.
Yeah. So kick us off.
So most people know, well, recently, in the past maybe 20 years or so, there's been a massive incline of zombie fiction and zombie.
Yeah, we should.
Everyone
like
loves
Walking
zombies.
Dead and
Walking
stuff.
Dead, movies, parodies,
Even
comedies,
arcade
books, games, video games. There's so many zombie video games.
Yes.
Just it's everywhere.
Call of Duty zombies.
Yeah, massive, massive things, and it's almost got a bit stale. So there was this massive incline of this really cool thing, right? And then the last 5 years or so, I reckon it's been going down. People are like, this is stale. This is just the same, rehashed. Not that much difference.
Because there's only so much you can do with zombies.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's why there's so many different zombies, like fast zombies, big zombies, strong zombies, smart zombies. But it all started because zombies weren't a creation of fiction. It was based off folklore of undead rising from the grave. It wasn't. Someone didn't write a story in the 50s being zombies came out.
Zombies are this, yeah.
Zombies has always been in not called zombies, but reanimated dead has always been a thing.
Yeah.
There's Haitian folklore, voodoo magic, black magic. There's some pagan rituals as well.
Yeah.
There's heaps of that kind of stuff, and that's where it was there for a long time. And then some people decided to write books about it, about having an undead family member come back and kill you.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, and that was kind of where it comes from.
Do you know if there's any reason why people thought particular people would come back from the dead? Maybe they lived cursed lives or something like that.
A lot of it's caused from someone else. So it'd be someone would have died and then another person would have brought them back.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Not really dependent on the person who died, more dependent on the person bringing them back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And so the actual zombie word wasn't used until says 1819, where it was used in the Congo.
That early? 1819.
Yeah. And it was based on words of God and fetish.
Okay.
And soul. So there's, I don't know if I can say this properly, but it's Nzumbi, which means soul. And so it was a
What's that
form of, yeah, it's a it's like
It's like a soulless body kind of.
yeah, yeah. So fetish in the like when you think of a fetish, you think of something abnormal and kind of gross. Like you don't talk about it.
Yeah, a taboo.
Taboo, right? So it's like taboo soul
Yeah.
kind of thing, fetish soul kind of thing.
Yeah,
That's where
yeah.
it started, and then it wasn't really used for a long time until there was famous like movies and books about skeletons and skeletons coming back to life. Like what's like ancient Greek movie where it's the first like proper stop animation.
Oh, was it Jason Argonaut?
Yeah, and he's fighting skeletons. That
Yeah.
was one of the first introductions of
Yeah.
reanimated dead kind of
Yeah.
thing. And there's a bunch of stuff like Magic Island, which is voodoo zombies in Haiti. And there's stuff about zombies and pirates as well, and all that kind of stuff, like undead with pirates. But it wasn't really until this modern form of zombies we have now, where you get like reanimated dead from the ground, crawling out of the graveyards and
Yeah.
going to eat your brains. Wasn't really created until George A. Romero,
Yeah.
and his introduction of Night of the Living Dead. And
Yeah, the 1968 movie.
yeah.
And that was his first movie as well.
That was his
first
debut.
movie as like a director, I guess. And that's kind of, I mean, I'm sure there were books before.
There was I Am Legend, which is a very famous apocalyptic book, but that's kind of skimmed the lines on zombies or not.
When was that released?
That was 1954.
That's
the novel. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they made a movie in like recently-ish.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I think they made an old movie back
But
in
then
the
the
day.
Will Smith one is
The Will Smith one is like 2008.
yeah.
But Night of the Living Dead was the first, like, this is what zombies are. kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Well, because I think that was the first time people really saw them on the screen per se.
Yeah.
And that created, I guess, the kind of popular zombie subculture.
The lore behind it all.
Yeah.
It was small town,
Yeah.
zombies coming through the
Graveyard.
graveyard, just
Yeah.
already dead people coming through the graveyard and defending like a little home.
And the whole idea that there were generally so many of them that it
Yeah.
was very hard to do something about them.
Yeah. And then the idea was that you could only kill them by hitting them in the head.
Yeah, or like
With the
dismembering.
brain. Yeah, or like burning or like decapitating them.
Yeah.
So they're like hard to kill but slow
Yeah.
and all those kind of things. And then after that it was like movie after movie after movie about from George A. Romero, just
Yeah.
zombie.
He
And
was
then
like the zombie king, yeah.
yeah, godfather of zombies.
Yeah.
So
I have a list of his movies. So in 1968 he released Night of the Living Dead. 1973 was The Crazies. Actually no,
Yeah.
that's his acting role, so don't look at the wrong thing.
Crazies is also a zombie movie.
Yeah. But 1968 was Night of the Living Dead. Then there's Always Vanilla in 1971. Season of the Witch and The Crazies in 73.
Yeah.
Amusement Park. Dawn of the Dead came out in 78.
And that was
Day of the Dead in
Nice.
85. Yeah.
yeah.
Night of the Living Dead in 1990. Like those. And then even into the 2000s, you had Land of the Dead, Diary of the Dead, Survival of the Dead.
Yeah.
And then another The Crazies. So he certainly did his fair share of zombie movies in his life.
His old school Dawn of the Dead, which is the famous mall one.
Yeah, the mall one.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest.
Zombie movie ever.
Yeah.
I think Night of the Living Dead's the most, not iconic, but the most kind of respected.
Yeah, it was the start of it all.
Yeah. And that movie is kind of, I find it a bit slow and boring, but I appreciate the kind of relevance of it.
Yeah, and I reckon it pays off. There's scenes where it pays off. And
Yeah.
It does hit a lot of like horror stereotypes.
The issue with sometimes when you watch the old movies is you kind of take them for granted because you're so used to CGI and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I try to look past that, but also the kind of stereotypical tropes, some good,
Yeah.
some bad, and
Yeah.
but you can kind of think of them as a bit cliche, but you got to remember that at the time that was the groundbreaking stuff. But that can also be good because like you think of horror movies, you think of like graveyards and zombies and creepy castles and things, but that doesn't really happen in horror movies anymore. The reason you think of that is because that's how they're originally made.
Yeah.
So they seem kind of cliche, but like that was the whole point. That's where the stereotypes started in the
Yeah,
first place.
exactly.
Yeah.
And those stereotypes are still around for a reason because a lot of them are still quite effective.
Yeah.
But yeah, so George A. Romero, the godfather of zombies,
Yeah.
the creator of it all,
Yeah.
recently passed away. Didn't he pass away?
2017.
Yeah. But he created these fantastic movies that like, Dawn of the Dead is one of my favorite zombie movies.
Yeah.
It's so peak.
Yeah.
Night of the Living Dead is like slow, but it's good.
We're gonna watch Dawn of the Dead together. We'll do a reaction to Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah.
And then the Day of the Dead's also pretty good, but all the other ones like Diary of the Dead and all those kind of ones I've heard aren't too good.
Late life cash grabs probably.
Yeah, not the best. And trying to there a lot of them were trying to reinvent the zombie trope. It was like after George A. Romero released these massive movies, there were just copies of it everywhere.
Yeah, because like we said, there's only so much you can really do with zombies.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. But you're the champion, and then you have the big ones, like the massive zombie movies. Besides just that, so you have 28 Days Later, which is considered the best zombie movie of all time, which is that also introduced a whole nother idea of zombies. They're fast, you know, you can't run out, you can't escape them, they'll just chase after you, and that created a whole extra layer of horror. Like fuck, like at least the other zombies were slow and you could just run away from them. These guys just chase you down.
Yeah, it seemed like cheating a bit.
Yeah. So that was a big movie, and then a lot of comedies came out of it. So Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Good movie as well. Enjoy a fun movie too.
Yeah. Zombieland.
Yeah.
Biggest massive comedy.
Yeah.
So
I forgot about Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, Shaun of the Dead is funny. But then there's also other movies that have more or less try to make it actually scary, and this is one we watched.
And realistic.
Yes. So we watched a movie called Wreck.
Yeah, Wreck is exactly that.
Which is a scary movie.
It's all found footage. It's all someone recording on a camera, and it's only like 75 minutes as well.
Short and sweet.
And it all happens. There's no cutscenes. Like, there's no time. It's all just in one go kind of thing.
And it's filmed in an apartment block, and it's supposed to be, this is ground zero. This is where the first zombies were happening, and you don't really know what's going on, and a lot of emergency. Then basically a journalist is trying to film a fire. What are they called? Fireman house.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. They're trying to make a documentary about firemen, and then they get called out for an emergency, and they go out, and then it just all goes to shit.
Yeah.
Zombies start popping up everywhere, and then eventually it's one of those things where just people get cut off, and then it's really quite good. You guys should go watch it. And it's a scary movie. Like, you'll be on the edge of your seat. Probably the most scary zombie movie I've watched, and
it feels very real.
Yeah, it feels set in reality, grounded.
They did a really good job of that, I think. Yeah.
And then you also have massive, probably the biggest zombie thing ever, which is The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Which used to be the most popular TV show when it was going hard.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was like season 5, season 6. The whole world was watching this, and it was one of the most popular things, and everyone was talking about zombies, and it was zombie everything. Then you have World War Z would come out, just jumping on that train, which was already a book, but like movie about it, because zombie culture is so big.
Yeah.
And it had a bunch of different games. You had
well, you have those arcade games as well.
Besides arcade games, but you have massive like AAA titles.
Yeah.
There were games like
Call of Duty Zombies.
Call of Duty Zombies was a big one.
Yeah.
That was just like a side thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is so much fun. And so they just made games of it. There's the Dead Rising series what I was trying to think about.
Yeah.
Which is just fun killing zombies game. And then you had
Plants vs. Zombies.
Then you had the game called The Last of Us, which was just a story focused game, and just it's like watching a movie,
Yeah.
which was really good. If you guys play The Last of Us, you guys should probably play The Last of Us. Great game.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, there's such a big part of that culture, of horror culture, I guess. They're their own subgenre and everyone kind of...
yeah.
The only problem with them, I find, is they get repetitive.
Yeah, that's the thing. Zombies...
Because you can do a lot
It's
with a
just-
ghost, but you can't
yeah.
do that much with a zombie.
Yeah, it's going to be the same story over and over again. And there are a couple outliers to that, I think, in the last couple of years when, like you said, like, this is when the fall, everyone's getting sick of zombies. There's a new zombie story or a zombie movie coming out every fucking week, like, who cares?
Yeah.
But there are a couple of exceptions to that. Recently, there's one called The Train to Busan, which is, I believe it's a South Korean movie. And it's honestly a fucking cool movie. It's so cool. It's so dope. These zombies are fucking crazy. They're on a train and they have to like walk through carriages completely with zombies. It's just so smart.
Yeah.
It's just really good. And you guys highly recommend it. It is South Korean, so you have to, if you don't understand language, you have to watch it in subtitles, but it's really good. And the other one is actually an Australian movie called Cargo.
I think I might have heard of that.
Yeah, it's based off a short film, like a 10-minute film.
Uh-huh.
And they bought the rights to it, got Martin Freeman to star in it. And it's set in Australia. It's an interesting, it's more like it's the disease looks more terrifying than being a zombie. It looks fucking gross. Like it's a gross looking movie. But that's also another really good one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's good. It's interesting how it kind of originated in Africa. Africa has a lot of very underrated kind of voodoo and dead paranormal
black
stuff.
magic kind of things.
We should have to do a weekly focus on that, on just African voodoo and stuff.
Yeah.
Like one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I think of zombies, the one thing I want, because I like zombies, but I have my other subgenres which I just prefer.
Yeah.
Don't have anything against them, but I just like some other things. Like I find things like vampires and ghosts a bit cooler.
Yes, I find vampires a bit cooler, to be honest.
But one thing I would love more than anything would to be in a real life zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like, that would just be the most fun thing. And I guess if it was real, you'd be like, this is the worst, this sucks. But if someone has a lot of money out there, and if we ever make a lot of money out of this podcast, you better believe we are making our own zombie apocalypse park. We're going to get some robots or something. You might even have to be virtual reality.
Yeah.
But it's going to be like a proper thing where you have like, for example, like a certain scenario might be you have a house or just anything, like any kind of, when you play laser tag or whatever, you have like a particular area kind of set up.
Like a base.
Yeah. And they say like, okay, you've got 30 minutes to prepare and you've got a bunch of random stuff and then you have to survive for like an hour and a half or something and none of them can get inside. And so it's your job to board everything up, to, use all the ammunition and stuff like that properly.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it because like, how are you going to get zombies to kill kind of thing, but if you could just...
If you could do it...
If you just get paper-mache robots or something, I think it's something that could be possible eventually.
I hope we do it eventually. That'd be crazy.
That would be so much fun. Like,
yeah.
One of our first pieces of content we ever did on this channel was where we basically just put ourselves in a shopping mall and just made a hypothetical situation about like fighting off like 1,000 zombies or something.
Yeah.
With just stuff that would be available.
In more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think about that. Like I think that's where zombies become cool.
Yeah.
You imagine yourself in that scenario. Not necessarily think about like watching movies and reading books and like, oh, this is cool, because a lot of it's just the same stuff. But when it comes to imagine yourself in that situation, like that'd be dope.
A lot of it, I mean, obviously, if it was real, it would be pretty horrible.
Scary.
Yeah. But just the kind of, it's like you've done so much training in your mind from watching all these shows and movies and stuff, and it's like, when it's your turn, it's like, I know exactly what to do, like straight away. I know everything to board up, like everything to grab, everything to be useful. And the fun part is, unless you're like someone, you know, has tons of guns and axes and stuff, you have to get a bit creative with your weapons.
Ideas, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to like we had stuff like when we were in the mall, we would go to like, what was it, the like a was it like the bottle shop or something like that, and we get like a keg.
Oh, you
And
roll
then
it
get
down
them,
the stairs,
get them to come up the escalator and then roll it down the escalator and just like take them all out like bowling pins.
Stumble and then they'll fall off the side. So
So we just have like, you got to get creative with your ideas like that, and that's what I think is like super sick and super fun.
Interesting.
Yeah. Is that about it for zombies?
Well, we could talk about like realistic zombie apocalypse stuff.
How
like
a zombie apocalypse could really happen.
Like, because there's always, like, you remember that story like ages ago when there was like big news, some guy ate someone's face in LA and then it found out that the guy was in bath salts.
Oh really?
But everyone's like, oh my god, this is the start of the zombie apocalypse.
Whoa.
Because some guy just was fucking off his head started to eat some guy's face.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my god, it's end of the world. But a lot of people think like a branch of rabies or mad cow disease could cause a similar zombie apocalypse.
Well, it would obviously, it would have to be a disease of some sort.
Yeah,
and we all know about those. These bloody
yeah.
But yeah, ones that turn people into zombies.
Yeah.
It would have to be something that gave you brain function still, but not enough to be.
So there is actually one disease like that, which, like I said the Last of Us game.
Yeah.
Is based off a real disease, and it's cordyceps, which infect ants.
Okay.
And it's a fungi. So it goes straight to your fucking brain. You start growing shit out of your head, and it takes over your brain, and you're doing shit you wouldn't normally do. And
so the fungi like controls your brain.
Yes, and these ants are literally just zombie ants.
Whoa.
So you're just eating each other.
That's insane.
Yeah, I just couldn't find out what the disease is called.
Imagine, oh gosh, maybe all this zombie stuff is predictive programming.
Yeah.
For when that comes to humans. That would be full on. It's one of those things that you gotta be careful what you wish for.
So it's Opiocordyceps unilateralis.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
so
the fungi like controls your brain. It lives through you.
So there's pictures of it all over the internet about with ants that have fungi growing out of their head and they're moving about and it's altering their behavior. And some of them have been known to eat other ants and stuff like that.
Whoa.
And then this fungi will eventually kill them. Right? The ant will die after a number of days, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the fungi will just grow on them and they'll stop dead and the fungi will grow off their body and release spores. Another ant will come by, the spores will go into that ant, boom,
Whoa.
new one. And so that's kind of where it works.
I can't believe that's real. That's insane.
Yeah, and so The Last of Us is a video game based on that, but this disease has expanded into humans.
Sheesh. So is this thing common in ants? Like, where does it happen?
I don't think it's that common.
Can't be that common, but does it happen in a few countries or?
Yeah.
Wow.
Tropical forest ecosystems, it says here.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I guess that makes sense because fungi prefer like warmer, moister climates.
Yeah.
So if you're in Europe or something, you're probably okay. If you're in Southeast Asia or Africa or Central America or something like that, that must be where it kind of...
Yeah.
Where it kind of grows.
Yeah. So...
Sheesh.
So it says here, Brazil, Australia, Thailand, South Carolina, Florida, Japan are the ones where it's been known to happen.
So it's in Australia.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's in America, it's in Japan, it's in...
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brazil makes sense. It's got to be in the Amazon.
Yeah. So there's also been massive like areas of ants dying like this. And they've turned them as graveyards and there's one which is like 30 meters long of ants like this, just dead ants.
Yeah.
Just fucked up on this cordyceps thing. So that's where a lot of people have been like, well, if that moves into humans, that's
Yeah.
how it happened.
Yeah.
That's how the zombie apocalypse will happen.
Wow.
But yeah, so I guess leave you off on a little creepy note.
That is very interesting. I wasn't expecting that. Alright, so ready to move on?
Yeah, go to the next one.
So the next
Zombies.
one was something we both heard about, and it was basically scientists thought that they'd more or less discovered, well, basically the clickbait headlines were talking about how they might have discovered a parallel universe where time runs backwards. And so we thought that was kind of interesting. We looked into it, and basically it ended up being a giant nothing burger. Basically, they found particular particles that they thought were like reminiscent of the particles that must have existed around the time of the Big Bang.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of got from researching. I might be a bit wrong there, but really the whole idea was, well, so someone said, okay, well maybe there's a parallel universe where time runs backwards because there are these particles now which shouldn't really exist. They could only have really existed around the time of the Big Bang, so maybe there's a... But that's... To get that and then go parallel universe where time runs backwards
It's
is
a bit of a leap.
yeah, it's a bit of a leap, and it
Yeah.
doesn't actually make very much sense, and you can kind of get that reading articles
Yeah.
about it. It was a bit like, well, clearly there's nothing actually set in stone.
It's more like just jumping on this cool idea.
Yeah, however,
Actually having
yeah, the idea of parallel universes makes a bit of sense.
Yeah.
And theoretically, if you have a view, like a very strong atheist viewpoint, theoretically parallel universes have to exist, because if time and space is infinite, then everything that can happen must happen.
Yeah.
So there'd be parallel universes with absolutely everything is the same, except like I'm wearing a different pair of underpants, but everything that ever happened
Yeah.
is exactly the same.
Infinite
So there would
possibilities.
literally have to be infinite possibilities.
So there'd be one where time would be running backwards.
Yeah, so there would be one where time would be running
Yeah.
backwards. So that's kind of where it ties in a bit. I'm not so much of the belief that that's a thing, because I don't know, maybe time is infinite, but I don't think space is. Well, I mean, that's
Well, I don't
just-
think time is so. I don't think it's just start and stop. It could.
how could
It
that's
could-
the thing, because
it's
I don't.
incomprehensible.
Yeah, I don't think it can be comprehended by a
Yeah.
human, like what
Yeah.
no time is. It probably could exist very easily, but if we only ever have time, like it's like if a blind person's been blind from day one and all they've ever seen is black, trying to explain to them what the
We've
colour
only
red is.
experienced time in one aspect. It's
yeah.
just going forward.
Yeah.
But like, space time is the fourth dimension. Time is a dimension in itself. So
Time
that,
is a-
that is it. Who knows what the impact of that is, but it could mean that it could be manipulated.
Yeah.
There is like there's quantum mechanics,
Yeah.
right? So quantum physics, and this is, if you guys ever watch Interstellar, one of the biggest things about Interstellar is gravity affecting time,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
So time is not just linear. It's more. I reckon it's a bit something else.
I think it makes sense for time not to be linear.
Yeah.
I think we have too much of a simplistic view on it, and mainstream science even suggests that there are probably like 12 dimensions. For all we
Yeah.
know, there could be like a gazillion, and
Yeah.
we only know about 4.
Yeah, and one of them we don't really fucking know about.
And it even depends like what you even define as a dimension, because
Yeah.
something that's been brought up a lot lately, which people are kind of realizing, is that, sound and light are frequencies. And the human eye, for example, or maybe it's the eye or the ear, I think, can only hear or see between 2,000 and 20,000 hertz.
Yeah.
So theoretically, there are an infinite amount of hertz that can be created. So 2,000 to 20,000 is a tiny little speck. So theoretically, there is so much stuff all around us that our eyes just can't pick up. The same way
Yeah.
someone can blow a dog whistle and we can't hear it, but the dog can. Well, the sound is still there just because you can't hear it. A deaf person's hearing range is obviously going to be much smaller than a young child who hasn't damaged their ears.
Yeah.
The child can hear a high-pitched sound that the deaf person can't. doesn't mean the sound doesn't exist. It exists. So people can define dimensions as things that exist in frequencies that we can't see or hear. And that sounds like a crazy out there idea, but honestly, it actually makes more sense than not. Like, that seems more reasonable than unreasonable.
Yeah.
Like, you have to do more mental leaps of faith and more mental gymnastics to say that isn't a thing than, it is.
I think just jumping to the conclusion that there's a parallel universe running backwards is more of a leap than thinking, well, maybe the dimensions are very simple, just things we can't
potentially exist on top of us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all about, your own frequency and energy and stuff like that. So it was unfortunately a bit of a nothing burger, but it was more of like it was more just a possibility. And I read a couple of articles on it. It was very hard to understand. Like, I was reading a Forbes article on it, but it just didn't really answer many questions.
Yeah.
So unfortunately for this week, I don't think we're a step closer to discovering anything really cool. But I'm very much open to the idea of extra dimensions and things like that. And one thing actually on a whole like paranormal discovery kind of extraterrestrial point, is a lot of people say, well, aliens exist, but they don't necessarily come from other planets, they come from other dimensions.
Oh yeah.
So they're theoretically right on top of us, we just can't perceive it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was an interesting idea, and I think that makes a lot of sense, because I think the whole planet aliens getting on their ship, on their planet, flying to Earth, it makes sense from our viewpoint of how the universe works.
It's how we do it.
Yeah, it's how we would do it, but they could be completely different.
Yeah,
we don't understand anything. Like,
yeah, exactly.
When you get into all these dimensions and frequencies and things we can't even perceive, it's like,
who knows what could be happening? Who knows what could happen or what could be happening?
Yeah. That's why a part of me kind of scoffs at these people that think they have all the answers in the whole space and time sense. Like, there was a Big Bang this long ago and this is exactly what happens. Like, dude, how big is the universe? Freaking enormous, according to you, right? So, you've never even left Earth.
Yeah. And
then the universe is supposedly 13 billion years old. You've been alive for between 0 and 100 years. 99% of people have.
Yeah.
So you've been to the most tiny speck of the universe for the most minuscule amount of time, and you think you understand it all.
Shit. Yeah.
You don't know shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's
100%.
like. Yeah, it's like.
That's why a lot of this stuff is called theories.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of it's based in scientific fact, and you're like, yeah, but like, it's called a theory or a hypothesis because.
Yeah.
It's not definitive.
It's like a piece of bacteria existing on your skin for 1 second, and then it thinking it understands your whole body and the whole organism.
Yeah, so who knows what could be going on.
Yeah.
I reckon there are big, massive leaps in science that are trying to get somewhere. And a lot of them everyone, like, the massive thing back of most people's minds is, what's the meaning of life? What's our purpose here? And I reckon there's really smart people, and there have been like really intelligent people that have been trying to find answers to that, and they've been working to create something, and I think they're doing cool stuff.
I don't think questions like what's the meaning of life can really be answered with science, though.
I think that's come down to the individual.
Well, I think at least it comes down to a different discipline to work out those kinds of questions. Yeah.
But the meaning of
science is a description of a mechanism. It gives you no whys kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because, like we said, we have no idea how it could work. But I don't know. I believe in other dimensions, and parallel universes kind of make sense. It depends though. Like, if simulation theory is right, then there might be a few simulations where
there are parallel universes.
And they're the parallel universes. The same like person who is running the simulation is got other simulations going. Like you have different saved files on a video game.
Yeah, actually, speaking of that, there's a really fucking trippy ass show that I watched, where it's exactly that. A guy has a bunch of simulations, and he runs a podcast, And what he does is he goes into those simulations, talks to some random person on some random planet in that simulation, and has like a weird discussion with them about normal podcast stuff. Like one of them was a zombie apocalypse, and he was talking to the president of the United States in this simulation, and they're talking about drugs.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a crazy show. Well, what's it called?
That probably makes a bit of sense. That could happen. It is a weird thought to be like that. There is a perfectly legitimate chance we're just in some or something simulation. Because we don't even know what life is. Like, the hell, where does this come from? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
we were just
people
put here
think that this is a given, but it's like, what even is this?
Yeah.
Why isn't there nothing? Why is there something and not nothing?
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't make any sense at all. We do not have the answer to that.
Because the idea is that we were created from nothing, but like...
I don't buy it. So 13.8 billion years ago, nothing blew up and created everything. That makes sense.
Yeah,
What existed before it?
Exactly.
What existed before it?
I reckon the Big Bang Theory is a pretty fucking...
It might. I'm not opposed to it, but
it's a pretty good theory. But then again,
it's just a theory.
It's defined by a certain point. They don't know what's before that point, right?
Like scientists say they can calculate up to like 1/1000th of a second after the Big Bang. It's like, yeah, but what happened 1/1000th of a second before the Big Bang? You know, that's the sort of thing that we have no idea. And
yeah,
I am perfectly happy to admit, I think something, I'm not saying necessarily a god or a religion, but something or someone or some kind of energy created the known universe, I think.
Or created something to create the known. Like, something happens. There was a catalyst for something.
Yeah.
And we don't know that catalyst.
Yes.
Basically.
Potentially conscious thing that...
Yeah. That show I was talking about is called The Midnight Gospel.
The Midnight Gospel. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Like Duncan Trussell's show?
Is it? Is
Duncan Trussell has a show called The Midnight Gospel that just came out.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Dude, yes, I've heard so many good things.
Have you watched it?
No, but I've heard so many good things about it.
It's yeah. That's
it's his show.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a show about this guy trying to become a popular podcast person.
So Duncan?
Yes, but it's set in space, and the guy just has a bunch of simulations on his computer, and he just gets sent into those simulations, and those simulations are like whatever you can expect from any thing, right? And he just has crazy conversations with them.
Interesting. Yeah, because Duncan Trussell's a man. I've been watching a lot of Duncan Trussell lately, and I've been hearing about how good his show is. And
it's a lot of fun.
I'm thinking about watching it, but that's so interesting.
And the animation's so trippy. It's like...
I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that it's funny, like, yeah. No, Duncan Trussell is awesome.
Yeah.
He has just such a good outlook on life. He's someone, you should definitely listen. I mean, he's been on Joe Rogan like heaps of times, so there's no shortage of Duncan Trussell.
And he's been on Joe Rogan recently as well. I can't, like 3 or 4 times in the last like 3 months. Like,
he's so funny.
No one's on Joe Rogan that much.
Yeah.
Except like Joey Diaz maybe.
Eddie, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's got his own podcast. Like he's had talks with Russell Brand and things as well.
Oh, Russell Brand. What do you think of Russell Brand? You rate him? I reckon he's based as fuck.
For sure. No, he's someone that had the highest highs.
He's and the lowest lows.
And the lowest lows, and now has worked it out.
Yeah, I reckon he's one of the people that has self-mastery, I reckon.
Yeah, well, at least he's on the right
He's on it, yeah. I reckon he's still some, like, weird addiction shit.
Well, because it's just one of those things. He would have realised that materialism is great, but it doesn't, like, you don't lie to yourself and tell yourself that you wouldn't be made happier with more money, because, like, you would.
Yeah.
But the idea that is the only answer to happiness, and if you're not happy enough, the answer is more money and more stuff. Well, then that's wrong.
Because he had all the money anyone could ever ask.
Dating Katy Perry, like everything. He had so much money. He's a Hollywood actor.
He had so many problems, and it's only recently in the last 10 years or so that he's been really trying to.
And he was going down the K-hole just to not feel anything. You know, like that's when you're in trouble.
But now he's made big moves, and now he's on the way.
Valuable content.
Yeah, and you guys should go honestly check out his YouTube channel. He has some really, really sound advice on that YouTube channel. Like, and it's really basic stuff. It's like, just do this thing occasionally and you'll feel so much better.
But his responses, because he talks about current events as well.
Yeah, it's very political.
But his responses are always the right response, more or less. Like, you watch his video on a basic issue, which everyone has an opinion of, and usually, more times than not, I walk away thinking, that's the right outlook to have.
Yeah.
That's the right way to look at it.
Yeah.
And that's, he's a guy that's... Well, it's actually one of my goals I have, to be on his show or have him on mine.
Russell Brand.
Yeah, that's one of my goals.
Yeah.
Because I just I don't know,
so likable.
He's so likable, but he's also so humble as well. Like, I know if I ever ran into him on the street, he would chat to me. Like, he wouldn't be like, I'm too big for my boots, Russell Brand. He looks at me and he looks at anyone the same. Like and
it's hard to say that about celebrities, because most of the time you fucking don't know who a celebrity is. Like, you cannot say, I'll see him on the street, he's going to be really nice, and he could be an absolute dick. But I don't know, Russell Brand just always seemed super genuine all the time.
Well, I think because he cares about more than just his image and things like that.
Yeah, well, he does now, for sure. Before he was just a drug fiend.
Well, yeah, I think the drugs were more to mask his pain of...
Yeah, all the issues he's been through,
It makes sense, yeah.
But he's cool.
No, he's very cool. So, yeah, him and Duncan Trussell, the Midnight Gospel, that could be something we definitely look into. Because this is the paranormal and discovery show, so, like, while it is heavy paranormal horror kind of content, stuff like that, we also do talk about discoveries and...
if you guys have anything you guys want us to mention or talk about it, we can talk about it. Maybe, even if you're lucky, you might get a little bit political. But you used to know about that one.
I'd probably rather stay away from that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Do the deeper questions.
So we do have some we'll just start to finish up here, guys, but we do have some questions that we've been getting on a couple of our sites. One of the main ones is like, what made us get into paranormal and the horror genre?
So the person who asked this was kind of interested because a lot of people our age kind of aren't into those 80s flicks and slasher classic movies and stuff. Like, most people our age have not seen Friday the 13th, even though every single person has heard of it. So what did get us into it? I remember
it started back in when we met in year 5.
When we were like young kids.
And we'd tell ghost stories to each other.
We'd tell ghost stories to each other, freak each other out.
Yeah.
But then I think it also came from, I remember one night when we were probably like 12, you had a free house and we watched Psycho.
Oh yeah, dude, that was it.
And because we were still pretty young, we thought it was so cool, like at night, like no parents watching a horror movie.
And we already had that intrigue of watching something scary, because we'd tell each other like creepy stories when we were younger, just stories we made up, and then we're like, let's watch a horror movie together. And free house, really young, no one watching over us, pizza.
I think it just gave us that little bit of like, oh, this is cool. Yeah. And then a couple of years ago, we were kind of always a bit interested in paranormal. Like, we discussed paranormal.
Yeah, we always discussed ghosts and scary things.
But then I think a couple of years ago, we went to watch a movie together in a similar situation, and I was like, let's watch a horror movie. And so alright, let's watch a horror movie. And so we watched Halloween. Yeah. And then we're both like, man, that was fun. Sick. I would so much rather watch that than a generic movie.
Yeah, and then we watched like 10 different horror movies like every other week as soon as we could.
And we've both been interested in film generally and cinematography and directors. And like, we, not to toot our own horns, but have better taste in movies than most people. 100%. Like, we don't watch Fast and Furious and shit like that. We watch actual good movies.
So we watched a bunch of movies, and then like last year we started doing like little adventures into, like, we went and tried to spook ourselves, because there was one night we went for a drive and we got spooked the fuck out. Before we were seeing things, we were off like, we were just going crazy.
That was the one we talked about in the last video, if you haven't seen it, where we talked about like the horror soundtracks and things like that, and how we went for a drive in this creepy old place and we freaked ourselves out more than anything.
And
sometimes we liked it we do stuff and we know we're gonna scare ourselves. Like we were out at night once and we parked the car and we walked down through this like little foresty area. And I remember us being like, imagine you turn around right now and there's like a killer standing like under that light pole.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
And then we keep making up scenarios like that to the point we just run and get in the car
Yeah,
and
exactly.
just get the hell out of there.
And we just build ourselves up. But there have been like some genuine like freaky moments. Like there's one where we drove past a house and the lights was on and there was like a note on the thing and the light like flicked off and on and we saw it was just dead open, like there was nothing, there was supposed to be nothing there. There was one during that walk we were walking and we swear to God we heard someone pissing and just stop and like rustling about and we're like, oh fuck, that's someone there, just like walk slowly, and we heard footsteps and we're like, ah, fucking go, and then we ran.
Or the old mannequin.
Old mannequin, drove past the house and we saw.
So we're driving and there's this dark street, but there's this one house with a big front window and it's got a mannequin up against the window and the light's on, so it takes you a minute to realise it's a mannequin.
Yeah.
So it looks like there's a person just standing there staring straight at you. We freaked out, man.
Yeah.
That was terrifying.
That was so good.
Then we realised, but even though we knew it was a mannequin, every time we
drove
see
past
it,
it,
we're
we're
like,
like, oh, there it is. Yeah, that was good. Because when we drove past, we didn't say a thing. Because you saw it, you're like, oh. And then
because I thought it was at first, I thought it was a person.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
And then someone like looking at us, and it looked, and then I looked up and was like, I saw that as well, and they're like, oh my god, that's a fucking person.
Yeah.
And we drove back and we're like, oh, that's a mannequin. But we were still like really spooked out. And looked freaky as hell.
Yeah. What was the other questions we got?
One of the big questions was is what is horror and horrifying? Are those two the same?
It's horror short
thing?
for horrifying.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
This is weird because at first I'm like, of course it is, and I'm like, wait, is it?
Not really. So it's horror is the intense. This is the definition by Google standards.
Okay.
Horror is an intense feeling of fear, shock, or disgust. So it's a feeling you get, right?
Yeah.
Horrifying is the effect of like the catalyst of that. Like it causes horror.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's the thing that happens.
Yeah. Interesting.
So like if someone was here and I shot them, that act is horrifying, and then you feel horror from that act.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go then. And do we have one more?
What's our favourite horror movies?
For now, I'm probably gonna have to go with either Psycho or Halloween.
Yeah. I don't know.
I also really love Silence of the Lambs. A lot of people say that's not horror, but it's horror.
It's horror. Yeah.
Get out of here! It's a thriller. Like no, it's horrifying.
Dude, that scene. We'll get to Silence of the Lambs. we'll do a reaction to that because we haven't watched it in a while, and we'll make like a 3-hour review of that.
You never stop breaking down the fact that it is rated so highly on IMDb, but so few people can watch a movie like that.
I reckon Silence of the Lambs is my favourite horror movie.
Could potentially be, yeah.
I don't know, that scene where he escapes. And that is a horrifying scene.
The ambulance.
Yeah.
No,
or like when they. Yeah. It's a great movie.
I'm sure everyone listening to this.
But like Halloween.
Halloween's great.
Psycho's great.
Friday the 13th, most fun movies.
Yeah. Psycho's great.
I really like cinematic masterpiece.
Talked about it earlier. Rec was like we didn't know anything about it.
Rec wouldn't be in my top 5, but
it was surprisingly good.
What else? Not The Evil Dead.
Not The Evil Dead. Fuck The Evil Dead. If you haven't watched that video, go talk shit about The Evil Dead.
Another one of my top 5 is Rosemary's Baby.
Oh yeah.
Insanely good movie. I would watch that again in a heartbeat. We'll do a reaction to that.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess. Well, mine Silence of the Lambs.
But we are still saving Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Nightmare on Elm Street.
There's still some months to come, and
we're waiting for the right moment to watch them.
Yeah. There'll be a reaction hopefully this week. Hopefully we'll get one out for you guys of a new movie we watched.
Yeah.
And that'll be like that'll be a review for that.
And
we'll send it out to you guys. But yeah, I guess that closes off our first podcast.
But we have one more little segment.
Yeah, but we got some. There's the last sort of like cheeky little segment we got is we'll leave you with the quote of the week from us.
Yep.
And
so mine is from Psycho, and I think it was a moment where I first realised I loved horror movies, was when Norman is talking to the girl. Oh my god, what's her name? Forgot her damn name.
Bro, she's just blonde-haired girl. She doesn't have a name.
How have I forgotten her name? She calls herself Melanie Daniels, but that's not a real name. But Norman's talking to her in that scene, and this is when she first realises that he's a bit weird, and she's talking about his mum and...
Marion Crane.
Oh, Marion Crane, that's
Yeah.
right, yeah, the bird theme that
Yeah.
Hitchcock loved, Marion Crane, yeah. And she kind of suggests putting her in a mental home, and he gets a bit offended, and then he says, she goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes.
And then he smiles.
And then he smiles, and you realise, oh,
He goes mad
he
sometimes.
goes, that's what he, when he says
Yeah.
we all go a little mad sometimes, he means
Yeah.
he goes a little mad
That
sometimes.
and that scene where that is from is... Yeah, that scene is absolutely blood-curdling.
Yeah.
That is chilling.
Because
There's
that's
little
when you
pause,
realise, and when
and
she
his
realises.
smile comes on, and you're
Yeah.
like, he wants to kill
Yeah.
this girl, and it's
that's when you know he's not alright.
that smile is Norman Bates' smile from even at the end as well.
Yeah,
That
with the
smile
scars, yeah.
is bone chilling.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I don't know how he
100%.
pulls it off.
Yeah.
You just get that fear of dread when he smiles, because his smile isn't, oh, this is happy. He's just
I think
murderer.
it's the eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy eyes.
Well, it's not crazy eyes. They're too peaceful. They're too
Yeah, yeah.
mysterious. Anyway, what's your quote of the week?
My quote of the week is related to zombies, and it's from Dawn of the Dead, which is I reckon it's my favourite zombie movie.
Uh-huh.
And it's, when there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
That's a bone chilling quote.
Peak.
It's delivered so well as well.
Yeah,
in the
and
movie.
it's delivered by a reporter, and he's signing off, and it's just a great scene, and he's like, I think it's like a past, like he was
Yeah.
a religious guy on the news, and he was, and there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
When
and
I
it
was
cuts out.
when I was in, I think when we were in year 6, on my old iPod Touch, I had this app which has like a spooky soundboard, which is sick. I still have it. It's awesome. It's got so many good sound effects, but that was one of the sound ones it had, and I didn't know what movie it was from back then, but I just remember always liking hitting that button because it would have the creepy music in the background. So when there is no more room in hell, the dead shall walk the earth.
It's so good.
Even like my 12-year-old self just like
That was one of the things that got me into, like, zombies and, like, the undead
yeah.
side of horror. So that includes, like, werewolves, vampires, zombies, mummies,
Yeah.
skeletons,
Yeah.
ghosts. I was like, yeah.
I think interestingly, both of these quotes for us were the moments where you knew horror was
Yeah.
legit and it
Yeah.
was something we loved.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Anyway, that probably does
That's
us.
it, guys. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below.
And we will get back to you.
Yeah?
We don't have a massive audience at the moment,
we're
so we take
jumping on
any
everything.
questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so get in while you can. Hopefully you enjoyed the podcast. Leave any suggestions or anything like that.
If you got any stories you want us to tell in a following podcast, just
Yeah,
let us
like
know.
any Reddit stories you
Look into
like, something like that. Comment them below, and yeah, we'll certainly look into it.
Like, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, grow this channel. Please help us out.
Obviously, a lot more content to come.
Yeah, we're getting serious about our content now. It won't just be little clips. We're organising ourselves. We're gonna do film soon as well. We just want to set up a bit of a backdrop and stuff like that. But
and hopefully you'll be getting one of these podcasts once a week.
Yeah.
And review or a reaction about a movie once a week as well.
Yeah.
Probably hopefully 3 videos a week.
Yeah, that's our goal. And we've got uni holidays soon, so
yeah, and we're gonna do some skits, some like not skits but like vlogs, horror vlogs.
Yeah.
Us going to like some abandoned building, stuff like that, filming, seeing what's going on.
Yeah. So yeah, if there's any content you like or anything you like, any feedback you have, let us know. But until next one, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Sign off.